My main thing that has been pushing me has been just me not giving up because if I would put all my focus onto like certain friends reply to me or certain, companies reach out, it's like, man, I think I emailed another like over 100 companies the other day,
Yeah.
like these people got nothing back, bro. And like that alone that will murder your whole demeanor on who you are. So I feel like surprises have been the things that I always know happen. And I know that when I put in the time and the effort, things come.
We're bringing on a familiar voice today. He first came on the show, I think, in South Africa, came on again in France, did a US stop, and now we're back with him again today here on That Entrepreneur Show. Sellah, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you, man. Nice to be here again.
I got to back up though. We did a name switch, we did a
It's
rebrand.
all it's all good. I don't want to stop you.
We did a rebrand, everyone. We're going to talk about it. We
Yeah.
connected cold networking years ago at this point. I'll drop all of his shows in the description so you can catch up, follow his growth and his journey since. But let's talk about the rebrand, what you rebranded to, and the process of going through a rebrand.
Yeah, I mean, I went by Sellah for literally 12 years out of my career, 11, 12 years, and it was cool, but it got to a point that people didn't even know me as Michael, and I was like, I love my name Michael McLeod. It's just that for music, because Michael Jackson's like my biggest idol and hero, I would never go by Michael for my music. Like that's just a personal thing that I always stood by. So Sellah was cool, and like it comes from, stop and listen, freedom, meditation of the mind, body, and soul. But people started to think that was my real name. So it started actually messing things up because people would just call me Sellah. And then when I changed from Sellah to Black Butterfly, people would still call me Sellah. So that means like subconsciously they're still searching Sellah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually not good for my branding. So yeah, man, it's still hard. I still gotta put people in check when they're like, I support you, brother. But I'm like, bro, you were still calling me Sellah. So like no offense, if you're not paying attention to the brand changing, that's not really supporting in the best ways.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that, everyone. You're going to go through all of these changes and cycles like a butterfly, no pun intended, in
Right?
entrepreneurship. That's what it's all about. You've come a long way. It's great to see. And I only know his first name because I sent him a book a minute ago when he came on the show. So I had to know who to mail it to. Like, hey, is Stella going on there? Or is this his, you got a real name? But other than the rebrand, let's talk about what's happened since you rebranded. What steps have you taken? I know there's a lot of growth since you even just did this switch.
Geez, so Black Butterfly has been about 3 years now. I guess when 2025 comes, it'll be going on four. It's just, I don't know how to even explain it. The steps of rebranding was I was going through a very depressing stage in France. That's when we had that other show. And quite frankly, I looked at it like a really bad time for me, but without having that time, I would never came to Black Butterfly. It was really more of it's been like a very inward journey. I call it involution instead of evolution because I had to kind of take steps and figure out what can I do from inside to change the outside perception of me because people have this perception of me as just Sellah and they don't even know that I'm a creative director. They don't know I'm a photographer. They don't know that, I've been on so many different publications outside of my music, but people kind of only saw me as just like, Sellah. So taking Sellah and going to Black Butterfly has been hard, but I feel like it's the best way to separate my music and my personal brand from everything because Black Butterfly only represents my music. Michael McLeod is my brand as a creator, an AI artist, a creative director, etc. So I kind of really need to take that step just to separate those lines because a lot of people didn't even know who I was when I was under Sellah. And I mean, when you know more about someone, it actually helps you out to understand their story and like what they're doing. But if you only think about like 5% of someone, you're not really going to understand what they're trying to show. So it's been hard. I mean, with my sexuality, and then people think that doesn't matter for your brand or your music, but it really does matter. And if you want to connect with communities within that, they have to see, okay, what are you trying to do? Are you just trying to use it to get popular, or are you really trying to, be out here? So it's been a lot, man. I've been really trying to figure out what I can do to bring people to understand that Black Butterfly is my sound and my music, but also it's the person that I create everything for. And I think that's been like the biggest hurdle for people understanding that everything with Black Butterfly is fully done by me, from recording to production to the visuals, the music videos, the AI work, the marketing. So it's like it's more of a statement of like, this is me as a creative, a DIY creative. And I'm still finding my sound, but I feel like the stuff that I've been doing the end of this year for 2025 is really, I think, the closest to a signature sound that I'm happy with moving forward. But that's just the music side of things, you know. There's so much other things going on. So
Well, congrats on the growth, and I'm sitting here typing up some notes for the little bullet points before. How the lows bring positive changes. I think that's super important to remember that it's not forever. It's a transition period, separating the brand from your real name. You are your brand in many ways, but I understand exactly what you're talking about, and that's fortunately part of the game that we chose to be in here in our lines of work. I know you do all the visuals yourself, and I was always impressed with that, how you really want that statement. Like you said, this is me. It might even be the show title for this episode today. This is me. But are we doing This Is Me with Michael McLeod or This Is Me with Black Butterfly?
that's the thing, man. I'm such an integrated person. I have so many different personalities. I have so many different voices. I have so many different characteristics. I'm really goofy, man. People, I think, take me way too seriously when they see my page. They're like, oh, he's just like I'm a goofball. So I had to figure out ways, how can I show that characteristic with Black Butterfly and let people know that I'm still Michael. And I'm still figuring it out. I just feel the main thing that needed to happen with Black Butterfly is finding emotions that people can relate to. And that's not just with the music, that's visually. The
Right.
color palettes that I'm using, the typography that I'm using, like everything has to kind of be memorable. And you know, I had a conversation with someone that I'm dating, and he's a creative director and photographer. And he said, when you think of certain things, you think of that color, or you think of a certain type of text or a shape. And they said, that's really important for you with Black Butterfly for 2025. They have to have something that people identify you with as a physical thing over, oh, he has great music, he has really cool art. But like, when you think of Black Butterfly, I want you to see blue. I want you to, you know, I want you to feel, I want you to have those kind of feelings more. So that's been kind of the focus. I'm still figuring it out. I'm definitely not anywhere close. My Spotify numbers are so bad. Like, they're so
Sure,
bad.
they're
And
doing just fine.
man, they're so bad. Like, I can't even, like, I got friends, people that got like millions and stuff. And I don't know. I believe a lot of people still fake their Spotify stuff. Like I feel like a lot do. But I know for me, my focus is not doing anything that will, you know, deteriorate the numbers coming in. So if it's gonna take a long time for me to get the real actual numbers, I'm okay with that. So I don't even like laugh at it. I can have my 100K on Instagram and like literally 11 listeners on Spotify. And it's not like, oh, it's not good enough. It's just something is not connecting yet. And I guess have to accept that, because I know that it's not my potential, it's not my sound, it's not the quality. It's other things that I just gotta keep figuring out.
I love that reconnecting with your brand as time goes on. And yeah, what you've done is extremely impressive. It's not 11 listens, he's thousands, thousands, and thousands, this guy being humble. But outside the music and all of these areas inside the music, I should say, which part of the process is your favorite?
AI right now.
Let's talk about some tools you're using in AI to
Yeah,
educate our
Hyper. Big
audience.
shout out to Hyper. They're such a like the underdogs. They're like me. They're a new company. The main people I talked to are based in London. They're so dope. They had like a multi-million dollar investor hit them up, and they're like, "Can you talk to him?" I'm like, "You want me to talk to him?" Like, "Yeah, you're one of our top users." And I was like, "I mean, I hope I say the right stuff, you know." And that just made me feel like, wow. I have a company that has millions of dollars putting effort and putting me in front of people that have more money. So that really was the first time I had a creative company take me seriously, because you're like, you don't just put anybody in contact with someone like that. They can
Sure.
look, they can diminish your brand, and they can say the wrong thing. So yeah, Hyper, thank you so much. They've been so beautiful. The only thing about them is that since their lips smaller, they don't have certain tools like the lip syncs that like Runway or Mid Journey has. And like right now, it is scary how like realistic and like crazy things are going. And AI has only been out like open to the public for like over a year now. So it's
Yeah.
like just thinking of what's going to be like literally in a few months down the line. But Hyper is dope. They listen to me and I tell them like, hey, you guys try to get this, because I don't want to use too many other softwares. I want to grow with them. But at this point, I combined with the collaborator that's using Midjourney and Runway. And when I saw the lip sync that she did with my character trained model face, I was like, this has taken my music videos to a whole level. And that's what I'm putting out next year. So for me, it's just been very interesting and it's been a fun ride with AI because that has literally inspired me again. A lot of people think it's just point and click. Dude, I have spent 3 months per video with the AI work. It's like it's not point and click. And because I understand, photography and creative direction, I have like my creative mind. I'm gonna be very, very specific on details. And then you have to learn how to speak to the software. Like you
Yeah.
just like there's certain things that can take a video or photo and change it. And then also I learned that most videos aren't actual video renders. They're photo renders. Then you take that photo and make it a video, which makes the quality even more better. So just trial and error, man. It's been very interesting. But I'm doing everything. I won't say with no budget because AI is actually expensive.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
are paying a lot monthly for it, but thank God I got Hyper. I'm not paying monthly. I get all the credits I need. And there's another app called Pika. They just gave me 10,000 credits to use their app. And obviously, their main thing is if you use their apps, shout them out, but they're open to give creators all these free, access because they want to see their stuff out there. So yeah, AI has really helped me to kind of not think that I can't do things that are bigger without having a huge team or budgets. And for me, is I still want to have teams and I still want to have budgets. And when I do get teams and budgets, I'm still going to use AI. ASAP Rocky, I just did an interview. I'm not an interview. I did an article review for my magazine on how one of his newest videos was like a lot AI. And the artists that use it use Runway. And a lot of the people that were in the video weren't real. A lot of the changes, the FX was AI. And the guy was talking about how he already was a 3D artist and animator before AI, but the fact that he has it and he understands it, it's really helped him to take things to the next level and limit timing. So, I mean, when you have artists like ASAP doing it and nobody knows publicly, it's like once people actually start figuring out that, it's just going to be like a normal thing now. So I'm just happy that I'm part of the curve of people using it right now.
You're getting ahead of it, and I always tell people AI may not take your job, but people that know how to use AI may take your job. So I'm trying to learn tips and tools along the way as well.
Have
Been
to,
a
bro.
lights out return to the show again. It could be his third or fourth. I'm not sure until I go back and check them all out. They'll all be in the links. But now, early music creators who are
Mm.
stuck, what advice can you give them when they're just getting going?
Someone asked me for advice the other day, a few, and it was like, I feel so bad giving advice about music because I still haven't broke really that mode yet. So I don't want to feel like I'm being like someone giving false hope or false information. But one thing I can say as far as a personal thing is that if you don't do the work, nothing's ever going to really be figured out. And nowadays, because of AI and all these tools, you really can create mostly everything without having to go to certain people or studios. So for new creators or new artists that are coming out, do the work. Just don't feel bad to fail. And I'm not saying put things out, but at least in your own time, work on things. A lot of people don't. I know artists that are really talented, but they drop like one song every like 8 months and like they're not even popular. So it's like, how do you expect to? And they said they're serious, but it's like you're not putting any work, you're not doing anything with your branding, you're not trying it. Like I found ways to make things look like magic from nothing. And that's because I have put literally like hours every day on just trying things out. And I feel like a lot of people are just very scared to try things out and to learn. Me having to learn a lot of new skills was very scary when I first started. I was frustrated. I was yelling. But once I passed that one curve, it was like, oh man, I'm so glad I put time to do this. So yeah, I think people just really need to just learn to take the initiative to learn and don't feel like you have to have the best video or the best music. But as long as you're trying, there's nothing ever wrong with just actually trying and doing. And a lot of people I feel in the music industry, they don't really do a lot of things and they always expect I need this, I need a manager, I need this. Like, man, just try to figure it out yourself.
And that's entrepreneurship in a nutshell. You said that so well, where you're not going to know much, you're not going to be great, but you have to learn it all in podcasting. I had no budget. I didn't know how to do anything. I never listened to a podcast. I called up Apple. I'm like, I got GarageBand and the computer. How do I use this to edit a podcast? And then, I mean, if anyone goes back to my early shows, I absolutely hate the way I sound, but they're up there for motivation, inspiration, where I was so robotic. I mean, you remember the beginning ones? I had the whole typed up notes and this blah, 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 and it was just too forced. And
Now you got assistants and stuff emailing on your behalf. I was like, okay, Vince.
feel very, very fortunate. About maybe 20 months ago, a little under 2 years,
Mhm.
it was just me. Brought on the assistant. Now we got 16 team members. which is
16?
we just hired two lead setters, and I hired someone to help me with sales closings to now build this sales system that is the hardest and last step if you ever want to get out of the company. As an author, a speaker, I love doing all those things and writer, but can't really sell any of that at the end of the day. An accomplishment for me. I've just set this goal since I went in the incubator program to build something I can eventually. I mean, I'm not talking billion-dollar sales, but I'm something that someone else sees my vision and wants to take it to a whole new level. They can make it better in their own way. And that'll be cool to see how it unravels over the next couple of years. But this show ain't about me. It is about Mike. And now, Mike, before we sign off, I want to now ask for some advice to present day creators who have been grinding like you, grinding, grinding, grinding. They're right at that cusp. What can
Mhm.
you tell them that's pushing you?
Phew. Man, I mean, people like I think my main thing that has been pushing me has been just me not giving up because if I would put all my focus onto like certain friends reply to me or certain, companies reach out, it's like, man, I think I emailed another like over 100 companies the other day.
Yeah,
Like these people got nothing back, bro. And like that will murder your whole demeanor on who you are. So I feel like surprises have been the things that I always know happen. And I know that when I put in the time and the effort, things come. Like randomly, I got an email from famous birthdays, I think like 3 months ago. And I was like, what is this, man? And they asked me, is this you? If so, can we put you on a website? I'm like, what the heck is this? This is crap. And then ended up being real. And I was like, wow. They said that people are actually searching for you on a website. And I was like, I would have no idea about that.
amazing.
You know what I'm saying? So things like that have always kept me going because I always know when I put in the effort, always something's gonna come. And there's so many different things that are always circling and happening. But I feel like the only reason why I'm able to go is because of like me not giving up. I mean, I've been in so many situations where I just wanted to end it, but I was like, man, there's no point because if I do, I'm gonna go my whole life regretting and I wouldn't want to even be around at that time. So I think just being able to tell myself that I'm never going to give up has been the only thing that has been honestly keeping me going. I mean, God forbid my family, my friends, my boyfriend, all that. But at the end of the day, I'm stuck with these thoughts, man. And if I can't get through them, I can't expect anybody to help me get through them. So
Amazing. I can resonate in many areas. You got to carry those small wins, those small pieces of momentum. During COVID, I had over 1,100 emails not responded to me as a school speaker trying to get in there. And up until, I mean, I've done a few days this year, but school speaking was always a side hustle for me. And I'd be in these schools and there's no assemblies ever. There's nothing really going on for the kids. They're short staffed, there's short budgets or no budgets. So someone like me, not every time, but every maybe third is just a free gig now because I just want to do it. I enjoy doing this. I wrote books for kids. I want to be with kids in the school. So I get to team up with local businesses to sponsor a classroom. Big shout out to Mickey Subs, has done it with me a few times, sponsor books for the kids. Bring books in, I go speak. He brings his food in there. So trying to get creative, as you've highlighted this whole show, where in entrepreneurship, you have to find different ways to do things just to get the kids some books. But it's been a lights out show. I got to thank you so much for coming on again and again. I love to share your growth because I find it inspirational how you continue to find ways to pivot and grow and inspire that really theme of not only not giving up, but being a career learner. If school was free, I'd still be in school. But unfortunately, my debt's going to be hanging with me for quite a bit of time. Where can we
it's all
find
worth
you
it.
online?
It's all worth it though, man.
Sure. Where can we get your website now, your Spotify, anything you got going on?
Yeah, I mean, so I have a pretty basic website now for my real name, Michael McLeod. So it's I am michaelmcleod.com. My Spotify is Black Butterfly, spelled sound pronounced as Black Butterfly, but it's without the A and it's all caps. So BLCK Butterfly, all one word. That's on all platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, everything there. Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that. Be sure to go show him some love online, take a listen to his music, and follow him to know what's next in his journey. I am Vincent A. Lancey at vincentalancy.com. Vincent A. Lancey on all social media, and you can find this show on all podcast platforms. Please rate, subscribe, leave a review, let our guest know how well he did today. And with that, I have to show some love to our show sponsor before we sign off, Coming Alive Podcast Production, your one-stop shop for podcasting at comingalivepodcastproduction.com. With that, we're signing off today from the north to the south. I'm in a hoodie freezing here, but what's the weather up by you right now?
Oh, it's cold, but I'm a weirdo, bro. My family hates coming in the basement, man. Like it's freezing here. Like it's cold.
I like to sleep cold, but once I wake up, I don't really like to be, freezing. But you take care of yourself, man. Keep grinding. I'm sure we'll talk again for another episode.
All right, man. Take care. Keep doing your thing too.